I'm Erik Petersen, and I would like to talk to you about shades of green. Most people are familiar with the whole concept of test-driven development. You look at specific code, either abstractly before you write it or after you've written it, and you write a specific little test that says, does this code specifically implement this, yes or no, give me green if it works. A lot of what we're talking about now, functional testing, isn't quite as simple or straightforward. I'll give you an example. Functional testing behaviours, typically you might be wanting to move in a GUI context from one screen to another. So what you're trying to do is identify that you have now got to the right screen. So you might be trying to assert, is the window title correct for what I want to see now? How can you do it? If you've got an intelligent system, you might have some way of actually querying the model of your software and say, can you actually tell me what the window title is? And if you can, then you can affirmatively say, yes, this is green, this is what the window title is. Sometimes you haven't got that functionality, you might just have to do a screen scrape. So you do a screen scrape, have I got the window title? Yes, that will go green. The complication there is if the screen scrape accidentally matches something else, you have green for success, but not for what you thought it was. So you suddenly have this ambiguity, these shades of green. You don't have this, I've got a chunk of code, can I test that, can I get green? Another variation on that is, if you're talking at a functional level, typically you're talking at a much higher level than the code. And it's hard sometimes to verify entire behaviour. You might have to choose specific verification points, and you choose a pattern as an indicator that your functionality has worked. But it might just be one particular pattern. So for example, you've got a whole GUI screen, you might maybe just choose a percentage value and you verify against that percentage value. What you might want to do is, can you validate the whole screen? You could, but that's a lot more complicated. As we got the quote, you're overwhelmed by detail. So do you just choose to verify that one point, particularly if you're trying to get a continuous integration build happening, you don't want to do too much automation. You check your percentage, it's green. But it's only a shade of green, because all it's really telling you is that particular pattern as part of that model of functionality is true. What happens on the rest of the screen? So this is a challenge that you tend to get when you're moving up into functional automation. How are you actually going to identify what it is that you want to verify if you can't necessarily verify everything? You might have other data that's popped up wrongly. And how can we investigate these shades of green? One way that I've used in the past is if you have some sort of intelligent screen captures. There's a couple of tools that I've used where it takes screenshots over time, and then you can then go back and replay those screenshots later. Because one of the things is humans are incredibly fast and perceptive at picking up strange little variations that computers typically aren't. So sometimes it's a good mix to have your actual CI does the automation, yes, it is all working, but possibly occasionally have a person actually look at what happened as well. And hopefully that way you can deal with all these different shades of green.